Lost Weekend and Jeannie and David Bowie cover, and what a badass cover that was. I mean, I love Alan. He's such a diverse musician, and I love the stuff he does. So yeah, that was a great cover. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there are a lot of great tone to the guitar, and it was really chunky and heavy, and it was so much fun. It definitely had such a good vibe, of course. But I mean, it was a good, solid sounding guitar sound to it, and just had a good chug feel to it. I dug that. That was cool.
Right on. So we have two more songs to get to. The next up is a band called Little Mono. The song's called On the Spectrum. Dig this. Little Mono and On the Spectrum. That was a cool song. It again had a nice alternative feel to it, but really like the kind of the twanginess of the guitar, kind of closer to the end. Like I love that kind of different style play and kind of mixing into the grunge sound. It was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. It almost it almost felt like it had like a Primus intro and a Primus outro, almost, which was kind of cool. And it was very reminiscent of that. I was totally into that, and it did have that alternative, not quite grungy, but almost there. Like it was like turning a knob from 9 to 10, and you would have been like totally there. And it was a cool ride the entire time, and to open and close with that particular feel to it was even more unique. So that was a good touch too. I was into that. I was digging it.
Right on. So the last song for part one tonight is a band called Static in Verona, and I've talked to Rob is in Verona. He's a really cool guy and a great musician, and this is cool stuff. This is one of the rough mixes off the new album, which will probably be coming out closer to summertime. So this song's called Last Night, and this is a rough mix. This is Static in Verona. Dig this.
Last night I saw you walking by.
Static in Verona with Last Night, the rough mix, and no, it's another great tune by him. I know I am partial to him, but that was really cool. I always love his harmonies, and just it's such a cool kind of it's a cool pop thing you can get into, and not feel bad about liking it, right? And his last album, Odd Anthem, Rob was very very good at the show, where he sent his rough mix of each song before the album was released, and he is a great guy, and I really appreciate that from him because his music is nothing but stellar. Like, I love what he does.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it had an upbeat feel to it. It almost seemed like it was something that was like 60s rock and roll that just had a fire lit under its ass just a little bit, and it just came alive. It was a really really good song that was really upbeat. It made you want to get up and just kind of be into the music. I want to say you could almost see dancing and stuff going on with it because it had that kind of an upbeat feel to it. The instrumentation to it was really good, and I felt a lot of early rock and roll influence in that. Not necessarily like Led Zeppelin style rock and roll. I'm talking like late 60s rock and roll that kind of had just a really good tempo to it. It was an awesome tune. I was really into that.
You know, man, I'm glad you mentioned that, just because I was thinking Beach Boys.
Exactly. I felt the exact same thing. At one point, I was like, I almost heard that California tremolo sound in there somewhere.
You know what? The thing is, before we end part one here, just a little sidetrack here on Beach Boys. The thing, like Mike Love's a genius. Like, hands down, Mike Love's a genius. Anyways, but my point being is, it took me a while to get into the Beach Boys, and I finally did. And I remember this clearly just because my dad and I were going out doing some errands together, and he says, I was listening to the CBC, which is Canadian Broadcasting Radio. He goes, and they're talking about guilty pleasures, like music-wise. And he goes, you know what my guilty pleasure is? And I said, no, he pulls the CD out, and it's Pet Sounds, it's Beach Boys. Like, I was like, no effing way, like, really? He's like, I never would have picked you for Beach Boys. He goes, I know, but this is a fantastic album, like, because he's a good Beatles fan, that sort of thing, right? So it was never huge on the Beach Boys, but he loves that album.
Yeah, they're a good band, and they're kind of, a lot of the newer generation kind of overlooks them and just thinks that they were like the California just surfing band, and there's just so much more to their music if you really listen to it. I mean, they were a good band, so it's really, you shouldn't throw that into the guilty pleasures thing. That should definitely be in the I want to say in the School of Rock a little bit, but definitely something to review if you get a moment by any means.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, Mike Love is a genius. So that's going to end part one. We'll be back in about 5-10 minutes for part two. Until then, we'll be right back. It's been Dr. Bones, One Man Standing. We'll be right back. Bones out.